Hi, I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Anna.
And we're two sisters who love handcrafting and figuring things out.
Welcome to episode 28 of the Curious Crafters. Today is June 12th and we are coming to you from sunny, beautiful day, sunny Northern California.
I feel like we're like a little far apart. That's okay.
We like each other.
I know.
Okay, let's snuggle in a little bit.
I guess it's farther away.
We're over at my house today.
Yeah.
I'm not as used to this configuration.
Still have a family of grandkids at my house and it's nap time and just general chaos over there. So this is the quiet spot right now, although you've got a family coming in a couple days.
Right.
So summertime. Fun. All right, this episode, let's see what we have. We're going to tell you what we're wearing, talk about that. We have some finishes. We have, of course, some whips, talk a little bit about our plans. I think Anna has a few shared supplies. I got nothing for shared supplies. And then, of course, we'll end with our thumbs up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Anything, Anna, from the comments?
Oh, yes.
From last
yes.
episode?
So I am making a quilt. I'm just going to hold that for one of my granddaughters, and I had asked in the last video about the name of this block, and so many choices for this block. We hold that for
Sure, of course.
Please? And so many things that you can make with 4 patches and half square triangles, depending on how you rotate them and depending on where your darks, lights, and mediums are. So some of the names that came up are Jacob's Ladder, Buckeye Beauty, Railroad Crossing, Hourglass, World's Fair. I'm picking Buckeye Beauty because I just like the name of that.
Have you ever had a Buckeye? Okay.
No, is that chestnut?
Okay, so Ohio, I think a Buckeye is like a big nut of some type, but the head of our middle school moved to California from Ohio, and she made for us the first year a Buckeye like dessert. It was like chocolate and peanut butter, and it was like,
oh, it looks like the
it
nut.
looks like a Buckeye. So
Yeah.
every time I hear Buckeye, my like mouth starts to salivate a little bit.
See, all the more
because of
reason to pick that.
Let's pull that over again, because all of a sudden, once you start saying that, what simple design elements? Because, you know, what if you made all of the squares the same? It all of a sudden looks different.
Right,
Or,
which I think that becomes like more Jacob Laddery, if I'm remembering correctly.
What an interesting design challenge is, or just being like, okay, you're going to use these 2 4 squares and 2 half triangles, because you could also put them together in different ways.
Like just make the block super apparent. Yeah, I'm learning a lot, and thank you, those of you who.
Yeah, and thinking about color,
where
because right now this is reading as your positive, but what if the other was the more dominant color? Oh, that's really interesting.
In fact, in one of the sections of the quilt, that is the case. But I'll hold up all the pieces in a bit
when we get to whips. That's one thing I love about a simple quilt block is how it becomes different things by different values, different colors, the different placement of things.
And that's making me think too. Many quilters take a black and white photo of their quilt to assess the values and how everything's going. And someone recommended that to you for your sampler, where you felt like the values were very similar. And I had never thought of using that technique with cross stitching.
Yeah, I did that once before. What project was it? It was one where I was feeling like the threads were not doing well with the fabric, and the black and white really did help think about the values for that. All right, cool.
Okay, so just kind of what's up in our lives. You're lots of grandchildren energy still.
Yeah.
You
So
lucky duck.
I know this family's been with us for 3 weeks now. It's been so fun, and they're staying through the end of June. And our other local family, so I think almost every night we've had both families over at our house. So 10 people, 4 of them. Just
Lots of running around.
super chaos, but really, really fun, happy chaos. So that's been fun. And actually, I leave in a couple of days to go to Louisville. 5 of my high school friends were getting together. So really, really, really
Another
excited
kind
for
of
that.
excitement.
Another kind of
chaos.
excitement. Okay, yeah.
A little bit wild times.
The
maybe.
friend, she's hosting us, and she's like, bring your tennis shoes because I know we're going to play pickleball. But then she goes, bring your eating pants. Another friend said, eating pants? She goes, your stretchy pants. Because we're going to be eating a lot. She goes, and you can wear them to Pilates. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Right. And school is winding down for me. We've said goodbye to the students at my school, and now there's some writing to do and some other responsibilities to sort of close out the year. So
Do you feel like you're on summer break yet?
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So for you, you have to get your progress reports done, and then you feel...
Yes, I have a long list of things, end of year things that I need to do. Lots of like updating things on the website and finishing the reports for the kids.
Yeah.
So just like those are not my favorite tasks in teaching, so I just have to kind of
plow through it.
get
So
it done.
did you see the kids when did they when was graduation for you all?
Friday.
Last Friday. Okay. So was today
So
like a
few
teacher
days
work
ago.
day?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you're getting close.
Getting close.
It's getting
Right.
close. Yeah.
Can't quite relax yet.
Good.
So we have a toast.
Yeah, we do have a toast. So we're toasting one of our stitchy friends, and we're toasting her with some delicious, well, we think it's delicious. We're going to try it. Some chocolate that she sent to us. So let's open this up. It is Seattle chocolate, salted almond, dark chocolate truffle bar with almonds and sea salt.
Sounds delicious.
And look at that bird.
Bird on
I
it.
know. All right.
Yeah. With some floss drops.
I know.
Did you already say that?
No, I'm just focusing on the chocolate. I know. I think those are your first floss drops, and
They
I
are.
now have floss drops from 2 people. So Anna and I are like, I know
Make some
this
floss drops.
train like left the station
I
like
know.
two years ago.
So like with fashion always.
We're getting there. We're like, oh, we got to do some floss drops. Anna.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Stitchy.
Here's to you, Stitchy friend, and we really were toasting you, and we hope we can meet you in the wild one day. Cheers.
Cheers. We're really good at eating chocolate with almonds on camera. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's really good.
I'll be nibbling on mine while you talk.
I like when there's just a hint of salt
You know,
in that.
you know what else I like? And when our niece was making ice cream, it's when I can't remember what it's called. When the fillings, like the little chocolate chips and ice cream, or the nuts in here, when there's lots of small bits.
It's like stragglatelli.
Yes,
I know that's
something like
wrong,
that.
but
It's
something like that.
It's the name of the process.
Our niece,
Delicious.
she learned to make ice cream when she was like 7th and 8th grade. She now just finished her sophomore year. Her ice cream is the best ice cream. Every year for my birthday, I pay her $30.
That's maybe a little overboard.
I don't care. It's your
delicious.
niece. For
It's
a
delicious.
pint of her mint chip. Because I know she'll make it for me for $30. And you know, when you're a sophomore,
Right.
yeah,
It's fun to slip
slip them a little
20
bit money.
here and there.
Exactly.
Right. Delicious. Thank you.
That was really good.
All right. What are you wearing, Carolyn?
I'm going to go first. Okay.
I like to sort of confuse you
I know.
sometimes.
I know.
It's so funny how we have these orders of things
I'm going to
already.
develop. All right, so I'm wearing a
I wanna eat
top
more.
that Anna made. It's the Wikston shift. And
It
the
is.
fabric is a viscose linen blend that she
It
got
is.
from our store that we really like, Needle Studio in Los Altos, California. And of course, we'll do the catwalk. I just love those pockets. So Anna, when she wore it, she said, I just don't really wear this that much. And I go, well, let me try it. This has become a staple for me.
Looks really good on
I
you.
try to keep my clothes sort of at a minimum. So if I have something, I typically will wear it like every week. Oh.
It must just go with a lot of your bottoms.
Yeah. And this shape is just a good shape for me. I like the weight. You said it was a little heavy for you.
It does feel heavy.
I like it. I just wash and line dry it. I know I could probably iron it for a better look,
Oh,
but
you don't need to.
I'm just not doing that.
This kind of fabric has a little natural
No.
something.
So I love this. So I didn't really think about what we were filming later in the day, and I just got dressed this morning, and then I'm like, oh, what am I wearing? I'm like, oh, great, done. So thank you, Anna.
You're welcome. I'm so glad it's working out for you. And I'm wearing the uniform cardigan designed by Carrie Bostic. Oh, how do you say your last name? I don't know. I've shown this before, and I'm actually going to take it off now.
It's a little bit hot today. It's been humid here, which, well, for us, it's been humid.
It's a cotton linen blend, which I can throw this sweater over anything, and I love the shape of it, and I love the drape of it, and I love the weight of it, and and I like the color, this sort of, what do you call it, like oatmeal?
I would call it oatmeal.
Yeah, let's call it oatmeal.
Let's call it oatmeal.
It's beautiful.
We've talked about this book before. It came from this really fabulous book. It was a collaboration between a knitter and a sewer, and it's the uniform tank that you sew and the cardigan, and you have all these options. In fact, I'll wear my uniform cardi next time because I haven't worn that yet. So we can just compare and contrast how our cardigans are different.
Maybe I'll wear it again next time.
Let's do it. So that was a really fun. So if you're interested, especially if you're both a sewer and a knitter, it's a great book.
Yeah, and I'm still. I want to say I'm a beginner knitter. Maybe I'm anyway.
I think you're
a beginner, intermediate, moving into intermediate.
Yeah, and I think you could knit anything that you set your mind to. I think you're intermediate.
There was, I guess, what I was going to say is that I learned a lot of techniques making this sweater. All right, and we have some finished objects. Yay, yay, yay.
You all, do you have one of these Yetis? Because,
Side note,
I'm just drinking from this. I made this tea, like, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, and it's still like almost too hot to drink.
Really?
It keeps it, and like I put iced tea in here once, and the next day there was still ice. Sidebar.
I have one of those, but I usually drink the water with the straw. I haven't tried a hot thing.
I have a bigger one that I used for drinking water for the straw. This was like a student gift like a year ago. Like, nice. I think all the teachers have one. Super nice. Okay, finished objects. All right. So my first finished object is Frederick. And this is by Carriage House Samplings.
So good to see him again.
I know. My linen was Needle and Flaxes Pemberley 32 count. And use the MPI silks, the called for, and I stitched 1/2. Now this one has been almost finished for a long time. The last thing I had to do was put in this date down here. And Anna's doing Frederica, you've seen this, and I'm doing Frederick, and we're personalizing both of them for our mom. And so this was her birth year, so I did that. And this was actually surprisingly tricky to do. Because the original date was, let me actually pull out the pattern.
Have a lot of ones in it or something.
It did have a lot of ones, 1831. And then when I chart, and mom is 1936. So those numbers take more space. But it was great. This is a great time. I used my Max Stitch program and I just put in sort of the outline of where it could fit. And then once I had it, I could decide it had to fit in this rectangle. And then I could just play with it. I could use the 1 and the 3 from the pattern, but I had to kind of make up my own 9 and 6 that kind of matched the flavor, but that would also fit. And I actually
Carolyn,
am really happy with the results. So here are the silks. So
I know
pretty.
this Hillside Rookery is carrying the silks for both Frederick and Frederica.
Oh yeah,
and lined up all together. Yeah. Even though we own them, there's something.
I know.
Olivia does a great job with her photos.
Socks for mom. I even though I finished Frederick, I couldn't resist getting that bling.
Yeah, that's a great one.
This was one of my May Whipco's was to finish that, so I finished it in May, and Anne and I both have been adding to our jar. We put in a little money here for everything that we complete on Whipco. So, Frederick. So once Anna's done with hers, we will probably frame it in the same way. And for this one, Anna, I'm almost just thinking about like a really thin black frame. And then we're going to hang them we have from our father's side, a family farm. I think they look really good there. Are you still thinking we should hang them there?
I think that'd be a great place.
Frederick, highly, highly, highly recommend this.
Yeah.
Don't you just love when you're done? I love just doing this.
Sometimes I feel like we're paused on the video and we're both just gazing.
And we're just caressing. Okay,
it looks great. I love this pattern. I always have, and that date adds something too, because I guess emotionally too, since we're doing it for a particular someone whom we love.
I know. My husband and I cannot share popcorn at the movies because I say he just grabs handfuls and eats it. He says I caress the popcorn because I put my hand in there and I kind of go like this and then I pick out a kernel. So I'm like, I must just go through like caressing things. All right, so that's Frederick.
Okay, I bet you all of us do that. Anybody who likes to look at fabric, don't you walk into a fabric store and you touch and you touch and you go like this?
A yarn, I smell yarn because especially if it's like wool or it's been hand dyed, there's like a smell. And just something, people did that, but then once COVID, people started going back to the stores after COVID, you're like, I don't think I can just pick up yarn and smell it anymore.
We probably can again, don't you think?
I think we're getting close. Back to sniffing. Okay, Frederick. Okay, oh here, do you want the board? I forgot my board.
Mine's so little, maybe I don't need it for this one. I finished tree number 1 from number 570 Christmas tree set, designed by Nikki Pattern. Actually, this paper is very see-through, so I do want the board. So it comes with these, they're sort of mod designs. And there have just been so many nights in the last couple of weeks when I just, like, all I could stitch was this little section, just really geometric. Just like one of those little sections was just perfect for my brain. And this is on Cloister Cream, which is just, it's a length cut off of something else. And I was thinking, Carolyn, I just love this linen. I mean, if I had to pick one linen, this is what I would pick.
I think we have, I just got a stitcher's quarter of it.
Good. I was thinking, you know how we've talked about maybe making something for our tables? I think this is what I'm going to use. It has a beautiful weight to it, like a placemat or a table runner or something.
Yes.
And I have no idea what I'm going to put it. This is just a new, like newly forming idea.
Yes.
But when I was holding this.
Can I feel it and see, because yeah, it has a similar weight to the other legacy.
And I love the slight difference in color in the warp and the weft.
Yeah.
And I just love everything about that.
Yeah.
And I am curious, maybe you want to weigh in. Should I finish this just like as a little rectangle or should I finish it as a triangle?
What are you thinking about using it for?
I think it's going to hang on the tree. So a Christmas ornament.
If it's going to hang on the tree, I would finish it as a triangle.
Okay.
Get that point. Tip of the point. You're like, really? Okay. It would be kind of interesting to see how you could get that. Would you put little?
Wait, what are you thinking about?
I'm just thinking how to get this vertex, like of the triangle. Like, do you fold it down and then?
No, I think I'm just gonna make a point.
Oh, okay. Oh, and just sew it. Okay. You'll know how to do it.
But we'll see. It doesn't. I've had a ton of fun with it, but it doesn't feel like particularly special. So it might be a good thing to experiment with doing something other than a rectangle.
Yeah. I like having a project that's like a knitting. We call it our no-brainer project, where there's some nights where all you just want to do is or you're on the airplane or something.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's your no-brainer.
My other finished one,
Anna,
on the other hand, was not a no-brainer, and this was
my gosh.
So
my
end of
God.
school and everything.
Oh my gosh. Just you wait.
This is what I'm nicknaming this micro stitching. Somebody on Instagram said, "What's your definition of micro?" I'm like, I'm just using that very lightly, teeny tiny. So I have been wanting to try 56 count with Swatherfine, and I kept thinking, I'm going to do this in the summer. I'm going to explore it in the summer. I just could not wait. So I was really, really intrigued with these Vierlande samplers that Jacob just put out, Modern Folk Embroidery. And so I'm like, I'm just getting one of those and I'm picking one. Which one did I do? This one. And I'm just gonna do it and put my initials, and this will maybe I'll make this into like a little pull, or I don't even know. I don't even care.
Okay,
so
we
much
we
fun.
need some
It's impossible to show how small it
Here,
is.
use that spool as a reference point.
But even still, I think
It's smaller than a quarter. Do you guys remember quarters? Do you remember money?
It was really fun. I did just maybe a length of thread a night. My eyes did feel, I have a big magnifying light, and I did it before it got dark. I could definitely see the squares. It was a little harder for me to count when I had to move over. My eyes did feel a little tired. I love it, and I want to make a little tiny sampler.
Tell me about your needle.
So the needle,
Anna, your color is perfection. The color is perfection. It's like that Turkish blue.
is a number 12 beading needle that's ballpoint.
Okay, so
And
ballpoint
this is
so
exactly what
pierce,
Katie Strachan recommended.
Yeah.
It's the eye is so tiny you think like there's no way I'm going to be able to thread it. I had no problem with it.
Wow.
And you really can, you're going home with all the supplies, Carolyn, because you have to try this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The very, very small shaft of the needle just fit really nicely into the tiny holes.
I'm just trying to get away to see. I guess every time I put it close to the camera, it makes it look big, but so we'll put it here.
Yeah, that's what, because even like looking at other people's on Instagram, because I feel like there's a little trend, a lot of people are trying this small stitching. It's very hard to, even when you put something up for scale, until you actually see it.
And your little initials.
I know, it was so fun, you all. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh.
So I want to start
I'm
something.
so proud of you, Anna.
Thank you. It was really satisfying, and it's one of those examples of like, don't even wait.
No, I think, and
just do it.
Perfect little thing. Okay, so I'm assuming you used a hoop.
Well, yeah, and actually I'm having a hard time getting that hoop line to iron out. This is an old Monarch hoop that's from our childhood home. This hoop I've always used, and I don't use a hoop very often. I don't know if I need to use a hoop. And you know what else happened? Up here in this corner, when I was ironing, the iron left some, maybe you can't see it, like some...
Oh, is that when you were saying?
I don't know what you call it.
Like stained? It's water. Yeah, you probably use distilled water. Wow. So, okay, so let me just see what this linen is. 56 count Cafe au lait Kingston fabric linen.
This is Weigart, I think.
Oh, it's Weigart. Okay. Oh,
you know how this Weigart counts with different names.
Yeah. So Cafe au lait. Okay.
So,
all right.
I'm super excited, and I'm ready. Like
Are you going to stitch something else on?
Absolutely. I want to do something bigger. I think I want to do a small sampler.
Okay.
And one of the first things I want to do is get on up to Needle in a Haystack.
Anna,
and
I'm gonna
pick some colors.
with another
do you need
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had so much fun. So,
okay, but you're smart where you're like one thread at a time. I mean, probably.
That was right. The first night, I was like, oh my gosh, my eyes are tired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I felt like maybe I did start to adjust to it a little bit, but I do think it's going to be one of these things where I'm not going to want to stitch on this for a couple of hours at a time.
You don't use readers. You're just using your magnifying.
Well, my glasses have readers, so.
Well, I mean, like nothing, like no special magnifier in your glasses other than your.
Right. I could see the squares.
Look at my fingers.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
you could use my jeans.
You could see the squares. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Really, really fun.
All right. I want to do that so badly, but
when you get back from your trip?
I think I have to wait till the family leaves the household, till I have a quiet household again.
Yeah, and this needle is like, well, we don't want little ones with that needle.
Oh, but yeah, I have to keep my stuff away. I've also been training them. Like I picked one spot in the house with a chair where I just have to leave some of my stuff. Like I don't leave my scissors or anything, but I leave out like my project bags or stuff. And I've just been teaching them, like that's Gramsci's, like no touch. And they've been great. Like especially the older ones, not at all. And the little ones, they're actually not that interested. Mm-hmm. So it's been good.
Good.
Okay.
All right, so we're moving on to works in progress. And Carolyn?
I just have to take a little breath there, Anna, because I'm...
Thanks.
And
I'm
your
glad
initials,
you want to try it too.
That... Yeah, I'll be curious how you finish that. I think like a little pull.
I have something in my head.
But you need to put it in some place where people can see, like make a little keychain or something that's with your keys on it. Man, you can make a little button pin. You can just kind of wear it around and be like, I made this. See how little it is? I made this. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, my next. All right, so one of my whipcos for June was to knit a sweater. And I decided I wanted to pick yarn that I had in my stash. So ironically, I don't know if this is the proper use of ironic, but I'm using the same yarn that Anna did for her uniform cardi. And the yarn is...
Coincidentally.
There we go. Coincidentally, I guess it's not ironic. And it's Isager, Isager Bombulin. But 65% cotton, 35% linen. And I've also knit a cardigan out of this before and love it. You can also put it in the washer, dry it for a little bit, put it out. It's great yarn. So I had, this is actually the same, I know, the oatmeal. So I had...
Is that really the name of the color?
It's like just done with a color number.
Oh.
So we can color whatever we want. I had eight balls of this, and then I had these colors.
Yummy.
So I wanted to do something that used the colors. And I sort of explored and started a few different things before I finalized my pattern and then how I wanted to use the colors. So I'm knitting a sweater that I'd already knit before. And I knit it in wool before, and it's called the Donner Sweater by Elizabeth Doherty. I'm going to insert a picture, the pattern picture right here. And she knit this with a full-on linen yarn for that. So that's, and you start at the top and work down. So here is what I have so far. And this is my back.
That is looking really good.
And
Carolyn.
it's a textured, so the plain stockinette is what I'm doing in the oatmeal. And then these ridges, I don't know if you can see the texture, is a texture. So there is my back. And then I've come around and starting to work on the fronts. And you can see the front neck shaping is just starting. I could probably try it on. And you can see, I'm gonna just put the picture up one more time. You would typically call this type of sweater sort of a boxy drop sleeve sweater because it's gonna be wide. Oh, and then the sleeves don't start to like here. Now, these kind of boxy sweaters can sometimes look like way too oversized, but she does so much shaping that these sweaters have great fit. So you do something called short rows and knitters, and that's where you just don't complete a full row, but you can kind of see the diagonal lines that form, and that's what gives me the neck shaping. And she shaped the shoulders so that they'll come up like this. Anyway, she is a knitting genius the way she describes her patterns, but you got to pay really close attention, especially up here at the top. And once I join my tops and bottom, then I'll just be knitting in the round. So this has been fun, and I'm really, really happy with how it's turning out.
Yeah, those colors are going to go with so many things,
Yeah.
and I can see them being good for almost all the seasons.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna follow the same sequence for the shaping. We see our mom's coming over, so we may pause. But so I just wanted to look variation. So I'm loving this. I hope I can finish it in the month. It took me really a while to get started, but I'm hopeful.
Okay.
So the Donner sweater.
The idea of making a sweater in a month is, I just can't even imagine it, but I can for you.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right. All right, we're back. Our mom was dropping some stuff from Costco for Anna. I think she buys in bulk and then gives some. And of course, we had to offer Mom, who loves chocolate, a piece of this delicious chocolate. And then when I was putting it back in, because we decided that was delicious, we were put it. There's like a little saying in here, and it says, "Here to brighten your day. This cheerful truffle bar is designed to inspire random acts of chocolate, either to keep for yourself or give to someone who brings light to your day. Most importantly, your purchase supports Girls Inc." And it goes on, inspiring all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. So as we both teach at girls' school, so
yeah,
that gives extra joy to this chocolate. Okay, where were we? Oh, we're talking about the Donner. Okay, I think I was done with Donner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. The next work in progress is one of my June, I almost said, like, what month are we in? June Whip Go, which is getting back to the Smith sampler, which I started around the holidays, and
it's looking good, Anna.
Definitely have hit my Whip Go goal and can't wait to get back. I'm just loving every stitch. And I can't remember if I said this last video, but I was worried when I started it with the border that it was feeling a little flat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now that the dark brown and the gold and the red are in, I'm just so happy with it.
I love that gold. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, and you're over to the swan.
I know. It's really not that,
Yeah.
it's not that wide. It surprised me too. I'm doing this on 36 count Shrekie's Tan by Needle Bling, and I'm using the Vicky Clayton silks on the spools, which again, I'm really enjoying that. And the white is MPI 991BB. So I picked a pretty bright white and I'm liking it.
Mm-hmm. It looks great.
So I think I'm going to move across the band. Sometimes I kind of go down like this in a triangle, but because this has such distinct bands, I think I'm going to go all the way across.
How do you compare Vicky Clayton to MPI?
Well, some of Vicky Clayton has some variation.
It does.
in
Okay.
it.
Uh-huh.
I want to say that Vicky Clayton feels a little bit thicker, but I'm not certain about that. That's just my gut.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. I mean, I'm enjoying stitching with it very much.
I want to definitely try some Vicky Clayton. And I like how some people say, like, if you don't see that she has it, you can always ask
That's
to
amazing
do a conversion.
That's amazing.
But then I think, because once I think she puts the conversion, I don't know if it's a company or what, if it's a person, then they put that on the site. So that might be one way that they build, and they probably would only do it if they felt like this was a sampler that others would do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Anna, you've made great progress.
I'm feeling great about that.
So have you already done your Whipco? What was it, 5 days?
Yeah, it's 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So I think I'll do more on that this month.
Yeah.
But
That looks fabulous.
thanks.
I love that the gold is really an interesting gold. It's almost like a squashy, orangey gold.
Almost feel like, is that gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna take this for a second.
Oh yeah.
All right, so the next work in progress I have is Susanna Kreibel. And she was my May Whipco was to start a new start and work on it for 10 days. And I did. And I'm still working on it. I'm not quite ready to put it away. So let me get it on the board.
I love that pot at the bottom, Carolyn.
I know. And we were talking last time about it being a little flat. But okay. Here's the pattern. And
Wait, so are you at the bottom?
almost.
Yeah.
This is the antique, and that's reproduction. And this is a sampler from the Schwenkfelder Museum and Library, and her great-great-granddaughter was the person that reproduced it. And she did it in in DMC, but I converted it to MPI because it was originally stitched in silk. And it is on 37 count Corkscrew Willow by Legacy Linens. And this is Legacy Linens, like Anna's Cloister Cream. And we talked about this last time. It has this it's much denser and heavier, make great table linens. So here's a photo of where I was last time. And here's where I am now. Come down. And I'm currently, you can see my dangling thread. I'm currently working on that tulip down below. With a slightly ruckusy household, I'm finding I stitch a little bit once the kids have gone to bed at night. So I'm just making nice, slow and steady progress, but really enjoying it. I'm still feeling like the colors are a little flat, but Anna, as you suggested, I feel like now that there's some black in there, it has really, really helped.
Yeah, that struck me again today when I saw it again.
Yeah. Now, some things that I thought were interesting, and I'm gonna let me pull up my books, is, of course, Anna and I have just been really enjoying the samplers of the Pennsylvania Germans. It was written in 1991, but it is so fabulous. And in this, I'm stitching Susanna Kreibel, I saw this sampler by Regina Hubner, 1794. And it's from the Schwenkfelder as well. So that was a small religious group. And what really struck me about this sampler, now I'm going to insert pictures so that you can see, I'm going to insert a picture of the full sampler here, is many of the motifs on Susanna Kreibel are very similar to the motifs on this sampler here, and I'm going to let
We're
you.
going to start recognizing them more
Okay.
and more.
So the first thing I want to draw attention to is, I'll put it up, is the flowers. And there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 flowers in a basket. And so I'll put that picture right here. And then here is Susanna's version right here. And the thing that's cracking me up is I did not know what these like black things are right here. But when you look, I'll put the picture up again, they're supposed to be leaves. But it was just interesting. So she is pretty close to what the other one was, but her leaves leave a little bit.
She's practicing.
She's practicing. So I thought, and I'm guessing this, the antique sampler, the one in 17, she may have had access to, or whether it was the type where you're looking at your family sampler, because they're so similar. Then I'm stitching on this tulip down here.
Really similar.
And here's the photo of the tulip from the 1794 sampler. And you can see they're almost identical.
What's the date of Susanna Kreibel again?
She's 1841, so about 50 years later. And then, what was the other one I was going to show? Oh, I haven't gotten to it yet, so maybe I'll show you more details. There's this pot of flowers right here. And here's a picture. It's a combination of these two, where I'm trying to think, I don't know if I can tell the right from the left, but once I stitch it, I'll show you. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, because I'm guessing she's getting a lot of her motifs, whether these were common motifs in the Schwenkfelder community. I don't know if she was related to this person who stitched Regina. It would be 50 years. Maybe that was a grandmother. I don't know. In fact, I want to do a little bit more research to see if these people had any connection. So it was really cool, because I think, again, once you stitch something, you see so many more details.
Yeah, you're like, I know you.
I know. And then I was I spend so much time looking at this book. Again, I'm geeking out big time in a really fun way. And I'm looking at the sampler closely. I'm like, oh, I think that looks just like what I've been stitching.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing I was thinking about is this tulip motif. And the fact that the same Pennsylvania German, Pennsylvania Dutch people that are doing these samplers are also doing the Fractor artwork. And I brought, this is just a little magazine I had picked up that just had some samples of the Fractor. And one of the Fractor images are the tulips. And for example, I love this one. And I'm going to show you now a picture of it. And look at that, those tulips around the bird and the bird's head. You know, just that idea, which again made me think of Frederick and his tulip that's right there. So it's cool to me to see that tulip.
I like the
and then to start seeing maybe some Fractor inspired images in the samplers as well, like the little things with the Fractor. Or here's this beautiful Fractor drawing of a pot of flowers. And just thinking about, I mean, of course, these are different flowers than the pots of flowers in the samplers. And here, I'll put an image of it right now while Anna's looking at it. But just this idea of flowers coming out of a pot.
Mm-hmm. This reminds
I know,
me
yeah, the star and the star motifs. So I'm just having so much fun with this. One of my WIPCO calls is to design and stitch a Fractor piece. And what I'm going to do is find a simple Fractor image and try to pull, I think you can bring an image into the Max Stitch and it will do a first pass of turning it into it. Because I think all these are just in the public domain. They're old. Mm-hmm. And it's just personal use. So I'm going to, anyway,
really
that's a whole nother story. So Susanna Kreibel. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, thinking about the colors, and I don't know, I've never seen this original sampler, but the colors, the families of colors felt like the families of colors in this sampler. But like, it's like the reds and the blues and the golds and the greens, but somehow I feel like the colors in this sampler from 1794, they're all, to me, those are the right colors, and these still don't feel quite right. Like, look at them. in the star. Like, for example, right now, look at the star and that yellow and the green and the blue and the orange. Like, they're close to these.
More gold, more salmon, more, yeah.
But I guess part of reproduction is you're doing what that stitcher did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you for...
Thank you
for sharing. If you're still here, thank you for listening. Because really, it makes it so exciting.
It does. I agree. You just keep learning more and more and more and noticing different things. And I think that's one of the fun things about cross stitch for me.
Yeah,
or any sort of crafting.
I love that as you're stitching, you see more and more details. And then here are my MPIs. I've talked about these. Yeah. And where's my bling? Oh yeah, I definitely want to stitch this too, Anna.
Oh yeah. It's funny, you know, now that you're holding them up again too, I feel like the value differences are more obvious with the threads, which is making me wonder about, you know, how one of your theories is the way they're playing with this particular fabric.
I think part of it is there's a lot of value difference in these, but she doesn't use a lot of the darker ones. So the dark blue, the dark brown, this vibrant red, and this richer gold. That's where you're getting your value difference. Very little of that is in the sampler.
Okay,
and I'm so tempted to like tweak it and change it, but I'm like, pause off. Like, let's just try to reproduce it and learn from it. She was 16. She had her threads. I'm sure that she had in her family in the house. It's not like she could run to needle in a haystack and tweak it. So,
true.
She's incredible.
All right, thanks, Carolyn. That was fun to see.
I love it.
All right, moving on to another whip, and that is the quilt that I'm making for the new baby in our family, baby C. And this quilt is going to have 6 sections. I'm going to grab them. This was the first section I made.
Do you want to put the board behind it?
That's all right.
We're
going to get a little. And
we're
this
friends.
is the one where the values are a little different.
Oh, Anna, you've done a lot, though.
The second section.
Okay, wait, let me just look for this for a second. Did you switch I guess you got your darks in here. Okay.
Just that, like, the squares to me are the most dominant fabric instead of the buckeyes or whatever we're going to call them.
Yeah.
And this is the third section of the one I held up at the start of the video. And I'm just hoping.
How are they? Have you been putting them down, I'm sure, on the floor and seeing how they look together?
Yeah, and right now they look pretty different from each other, and I think the other sections need to come into play. I'm hoping that the eyes are going to sort of dance off the pinks and kind of go like boop 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 around the quilt. But we'll see. But it's been really fun making each of these sections. And
you can completely make it work.
For me, that's part of the fun of quilting. Is I've played with the colors a lot. Now I'm just going for it. And then if I need to tweak something in the end, like even something like adding a color along the edge at the end or something, if it doesn't quite balance.
I'm so intrigued now with taking a simple quilt block and mashing it up.
Okay, well,
I love that.
Talk about that more.
Yeah.
So I have these draped. I guess I should not talk over there. I have these draped on the back of the couch, and they're just making me happy. We're all just.
Anna, it's going to be a big quilt when it's done.
I think it's going to be something like 60 by 70 or something like that.
I'm really getting some quilting itching.
Good.
I know.
Good.
I know. I used to quilt a lot.
We should show some of your older quilts.
Yeah, you know what? We should. I quilted a lot. That was really my primary craft, really, until I started knitting. And you need something more portable.
You made a bunch of like baby quilts and things like that, and then you moved more into the world of like the art quilt.
Yeah.
Like that one you have hanging in the wall in your family room, the little one.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah. We'll show those ones sometime.
Okay, good. All right, should we move to fruit?
Let's do fruit plenty. Alrighty. So I gave the last assignment. This is in, of course, I have to show this bag every time. Stacey Lorraine. You're still watching us. This bag brings me so much joy. I was just showing it to my daughter-in-law today and telling her the story behind it. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, It's a real story, true story. All right. Here is, we're doing the monochromatic version. And the assignment last time, we were sort of at the squirrels, was just to come down and get to the hearts and the vines on either side around here. And then to pick which house. Jacob gave us maybe about 8 different options. So pick which house is gonna go in there. Okay, you wanna show yours?
Sure. I did very, very little. I do have one little heart in. I had one night where I'm going to call it a net zero night, where it was just like, oh my gosh, I just put things in, took them out, put things in.
Yeah.
Because I actually want to stay accurate on this for a lot of reasons. And then I went to that Christmas tree that I showed earlier. I'm like, I think some just basic block stitching is what I, for a lot of the nights in the last couple of weeks, that was just right for me. So anyway, one heart's in.
Good.
How about you, Carolyn?
Okay, I did my vines and my hearts. And coming down. Talking about being accurate.
Oh yeah, that looks
okay.
Good.
But this, I have an error on this side, and I found it last night as I was stitching. But what I did is I ripped out enough because. Let's see if I can get in here. I finished this heart and I'm cruising down this diagonal line, and I get down here, and it didn't match. It didn't line up. And you're like, drat. So I didn't want to rip out everything. I found where the error was, and the error is in kind of up in here, but it's in an isolated area. It doesn't affect anything else. So all of the structure, everything was fine. So I just compensated and ripped out enough to get everything to line up, and more or less.
Okay, good.
So, and I don't think, like, for example, this, if you looked at your strawberry, my top there is going to be a little different than yours. But I think everything is fine, and where the error is, it's not going to propagate into the rest of the design.
Okay, good.
So I just said that's good enough.
Mm-hmm. And what are you going to fill your octagon? What house are you going to use?
Okay, so we're going to kind of flash. We don't have pictures. We only have the charts, but I don't think anybody's going to. Let's all be good. Let's all be good citizens here. Okay, so this is the house that's shown on the pattern. And I'm either going to do that one, or I might do just this other style of house. Like, none of them truly like speak to me in a personal way. So that's why I might just go with the one that's on the pattern. Mm-hmm. Okay, Anna?
I think I'm going to go with this tree housey kind of thing. Partly because I love the look of the vines, or the leaves.
Yeah.
In this case.
It's nice. I think, do you think that's a church?
Oh.
I don't know if that window.
I didn't read that as a church.
Because he has a barn, he has a windmill, he has a pagoda, he has this more ranchy style house.
You design your own house.
I know. Hey, I'm just going for a finish here.
I know. And the next assignment I'd like to give us is, I'd like us to either just set up the initials, or set up and put the initials in if you're having any indecision about what initials to put in.
I do have indecision, but I'm going to make a choice and do that.
Okay.
I like that.
Good.
All right. So, and just a few details. This is 32 count Zweigart linen that I dyed with indigo, and I'm using NPI. I think what is it? Their 991BB.
That's the one I'm using on Smith Sampler, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm using the 32 count charcoal by Zweigart and the DMC B5200, so which I think is the brightest white. Mm-hmm. So. Coming along,
please. I know. I still look at that. I'm like, am I really? Did I really make that? Mm-hmm. And I think Susan Stanley was talking about this, where she says your linen starts to feel heavier as you get more thread in it.
I love that feeling so much.
And sister, I'm right there with you, because it just starts to feel so great. And you think, as you're using skein after skein, that's now in this piece.
Every time I finish a skein of DMC, I'm like, oh my goodness. No wonder we had to buy 18 skeins.
Okay, great.
All right. You've got your blanket coming?
Oh yeah, I'm just going to show the skin really quickly.
Okay.
I talked about this last time. I'm working on, it's called the Speckled Squares crochet blanket. And I have so many scraps of fingering weight yarn that I'm just working away on this. And this is also great with the family visiting because I can just pick it up and put it down.
Wait, did you only have 2 stripes last time you showed us? Have you done that much?
Maybe. I just kind of keep adding along. And right now I just had gone to my stash. I think I pulled about 10 different yarns and I'm using those. And then what I'm going to do pretty soon is then go and get a few more and sort of like, so we'll just kind of blend into more colors. So right now it's all kind of cool colors. I'm sure I'll add some other stuff along the way. And here's my block I'm currently going. And I'm trying to put like a few patterns in it. So right now you can see there's a 9 patch coming in here with a 5. There'll be 5 turquoise and then the speckled.
Oh,
so I'm just gonna do a little, so it's not gonna, well, it's gonna look pretty random.
Your eye has something to
Your eye has
organize a little bit.
Or like over here, I'm gonna be doing some browns and some things with the browns. So it's really, really scrappy.
Did you chart it out at all ahead? Or you're just thinking
I'm just picking as I go because I want it to be something I don't think about and that I'm truly using my scraps. So it's nothing. And the designer said something like, oh, don't worry if the squares feel different sizes. So once it's surrounded, like that turquoise one, once it's fully surrounded, it kind of blocks itself with that. So I feel it's a great weight of the blanket. Right now it's this wide and I think I'll make it a little bit wider, but you can easily have it grow in different directions.
So amazing.
It's fun. And the one thing I wanted to mention with this, because it was fingering, when I first was playing with this, the square based on the designer was way too small for me. So if you're at all interested in doing this, I just made, you'll see, like you start with 9 crochets. I started with 14. So I just made it a little bit bigger and it was really easy to enlarge that. And then I started thinking like, oh, this would be really cool with bigger squares or just different things. So that will probably be in the works for a long time. That's fun.
Great.
All right.
We'll talk a little bit about our plans.
Okay, what are your plans, Anna?
Well, thinking about my WIPGO goals, a little more Smith sampler, and then Sarah Barnes is my other thing for the month. So really looking forward to her.
You had a good month, Anna.
I'm diving into the summer salt boxes, which I will show in our shared supplies section. One thing though, as I was choosing well, I'll talk about that later. I know a lot of people are showing patriotic right now, and I'm thinking, what I have the urge for, and I'm thinking like maybe my tradition at the start of the summer is to stitch strawberries. That's what's calling to me as something summery, and I like a lot of strawberry patterns. So I'm thinking like, maybe I'll start that.
By that you mean stitching where it turns into a 3-dimensional strawberry, or stitching something that has a strawberry as its motif, like your strawberry house?
Second one, strawberry.
The second one, okay.
Motifs. Although I do want to try to make a strawberry. Which I was gonna do that for Brenda's birthday sal. I never did that part.
I do have the pattern, the Strawberry Fair. If you're interested in that one at all, that has that big strawberry on it.
Thank you.
Okay, have you seen patterns with strawberries on it?
Just go to our Instagram and go to our saved things. There's a category strawberries.
Oh, is there? Okay,
yes.
I'll go look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. Anna does a really good job saving stuff and having good categories. That I do it occasionally, but she has a lot saved on our Instagram.
I like that feature.
Yeah.
And then I'm also thinking, do I want to try cross stitch camp this summer? I did not do it last summer. I don't know. Those are the things whirling through my head in a very fun, happy way. What about you?
Good. All right, so I'm full into my WIPGO, so I'll be working on that sweater that you saw, and then my other WIPGO pull was to work. I think I always have like 7 days on my the Reverend Gordon squash bottom. So when I get back from my girls trip, I'll work on that. I'll pull that out. I'm very excited. Even though it's off season, I'm super excited to have Gordy with his side eyes back with me. I'm super excited. I'll just show, I know Anna's going to show it with hers, but I'm all ready to start. I'm all ready to start the summer salt boxes. I'm going to start on the summer solstice, June 21st. I have all my I haven't picked my fabric, but I have all of my
I hope you'll
threads.
Come over and we can do it
We
together.
need to start it together.
Oh
let's
do some more stitching together this summer.
Yeah, let's just set up like out on the patio and just enjoy the longest day of the year and get stitching on this. I cannot wait. I love stitching the spring. I've just been really excited for that. I'm going to do that. And then I'm really excited to try the micro stitching like what Anna did. And I'll probably do the same thing, do a monochromatic, small something, but I am gonna wait probably until July when my son's family is gone. It's just can't really concentrate.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is good.
You're having a different kind of fun.
I'm having a different kind of fun.
Okay.
Oh, this is one thing too. I think to be successful with the 56, I use just like magnifier readers. They're like 4.0s. I feel like I'm gonna need the magnifier with the light. But like Anna, yours is like this small disc like this. And
That's my travel one.
Oh.
My one that I have by my chair in our family room.
Oh, maybe I'm gonna have to try that.
I love that thing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that because my light is also just super like janky light at this point. I do need to replace that. So I wish there was like some magical place you could go and just test out lights and magnifiers. So I think I might be in the market for that. Okay, I'll maybe test yours again.
I have like, I would buy the same lamp again.
Okay.
There's nothing about that doesn't work for me.
Okay.
So definitely try that. Start
Great.
there.
Okay, so that's kind of, I think that's what I had. All right, Anna,
I
share
have
some
some
supplies.
I have some like little goodies first, not really supplies, but an artist that I admire very much, who's her company is called Rogers Miller. She takes old quilts and makes them into jackets, but she's made these little zip pouches most recently, and I
love that.
Isn't it beautiful?
Look at those fabrics.
So she's in the Portland area. So I can't wait to use that for something that is new. And then my girlfriend was visiting her husband's family in Japan, and she went to the Arimatsu Shibori Museum, and she brought me back this coaster. It is so beautiful.
It's linen.
Linen with the tie-dye and the embroidery and the balance of it all. It's just, it's so gorgeous. It is just a piece of art. You gotta touch that.
Wow.
And then thinking about our smaller stitches, I haven't been able to make it to a store, but I've done some mail order. And in fact, I emailed Needle in a Haystack and just said, hey, if it's better for me to wait a month and come up for myself, that's fine. But would you be willing to just send me some Swasserfine and some needles? And I said like maybe an ocean blue, maybe a charcoal. I gave some suggestions, and they were like, yeah, we do this all the time. And they sent this whole, so you can choose from these. So I have enough needles for you and all of these.
Did you tell them I wanted how many you wanted?
I said any or all of these on the list. And I said like maybe something bright. And so they sent me this selection. So we have a really nice, this is all Swasserfine. And you can hold it up against the fabric and see what you like. This is the color I used.
I love the one you used. Oh, and it's in the drawer. These are from the Container Store.
And
thank you, Anna. I'm
these
gonna
are
definitely
three
pick one.
Zweigart colors. Antique white, cream.
Okay, so here's antique white.
And the cafe au lait.
And the cream. And then this is the cream. It's more yellow. And then this has a touch of orange.
So until I want to get up to Needle in a Haystack, I want to see what sort of hand-dyed stuff they have.
Yeah.
I ordered one from XJU Designs. It's Little Bunny, and it's much more peachy pinky than I anticipated. And I didn't like any of those. I mean, we have like 6 or 8 swatches.
What about the gray?
Maybe. I think it needs a taupe. I think it needs a brown. The gray might be okay.
Yeah, but you're right. I think a taupe would look really nice on that.
So I'm interested in continuing. These are fat 8s. Or
16ths. Stitcher 16ths?
They were something like $4 or $5.
It says 16th yard.
16th.
Yeah.
So you don't need very much. So we need to...
Yeah, 9 by 17.
If we end up liking this size... Anyway, next time I have a needle in a haystack, I want to...
I'm so curious.
A sampler kind of color. I want sort of a tan that has a little variation in it.
Yeah. This looks like... Yeah.
What? Like you can do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, I was sort of thinking about the 56. Of course, the threads that they wove with is also thinner. So I was just curious if it was going to feel tighter.
Like the size of the holes, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking of?
But you should still be able to see them.
And I remember when I went to the Smithsonian, was it just last summer? The sampler I saw, I'm like, Carolyn, the stitches are like the size of what we're doing. And I'm like, it's probably something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Katie Strachan in her most recent video was talking about, she stitched on 5263, something like that.
Super interesting,
uneven, really interesting. But she said, back in the day, they're just hand weaving these. So there's no way you get the machine even weave that we get today. And it also made me think about knitting, because a knit stitch is a vertical, like a vertical rectangle.
Yes.
So if you, like, in fact, there's special graph paper for knitters if you're charting out a design, because it's not a square, it's a rectangle. So it also made me think about, like, it would be interesting to put some knitting patterns on that off-size linen. And she said that the 52, 30, 63 was easier to stitch on for her than the 56. So I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, I wonder if it has to do with like the golden rectangle or something.
Yeah, I know. I had to almost put my calculator in to see if like 63 divided by 52 gave us phi. Okay.
Okay, so
so Anna, great. I am going to thank you so much for gathering these supplies, and I will definitely. In fact, that will be like maybe July. That would maybe like a July 4th start for me, is to try the micro stitching. Mm-hmm. Oh, Anna.
I too am going to do the somersault boxes. I have the threads. I have decided on the colors. Now, I don't know. I'm going to try 2 different colors, because one of them, the house, is sort of a dominant, like a darker color. I'm going to do that on this.
Good.
And then the other house predominantly
is
a
white
lighter color. And I'm going to do that on this. And I'm wondering if those are going to sort of, here, maybe it's Muddy Puddle. I don't know.
Great idea. I have to still pick my linen. So good. You have your linen all cut and zigzagged and everything.
I'm ready for this.
Okay.
And of course, this is all part of me thinking like, and all of my schoolwork will be done.
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
I did do a little.
But let's just look at these colors for a minute. Really, where's that board? The red is so pretty. It's like a bricky.
I tested these colors. With our getting things wet. Almost all of them left. Yeah, it's like, it's hard to see, but almost all of them left something on the paper towel.
Yeah.
Especially red clay. Ooh, that was the biggest.
Yeah.
So, I think I might try to set these with a vinegar solution that a couple people have recommended to us. The other option would be just don't steam it or don't get it wet.
But I think it's a great time, if you're up for it, to try the vinegar and to see if that makes a difference.
Okay.
Good.
Thumbs up.
Good supplies. I have no supplies. New supplies.
Why don't you do your thumbs up first?
No, you go yours, because I build off you a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
So we've mentioned a few times in our last video, we said, what would we put on a sampler in terms of text if we put text on a
Pause for a second? I just saw where Anna lives my parents live next door and my sister lives behind them. And our nephew, who just graduated from 8th grade, he just came slouching across the yard carrying 2 things of Windex. So either he's going over to wash his grandparents' house, or he's just finished a chore. It was just such
I saw them vacuuming out the back of the car, so I think maybe they're been given some
sorry, that was just the perfect.
Like only an 8th grader can walk with a
soon to be 9th grader. Okay, sorry, Anna, to interrupt you there.
We're proud of him.
Slice of life.
Get your work done.
Get your work done.
Okay. He's coming back.
He's coming back.
So
now.
cute.
This was doing. Oh, he's a little more jaunty now that he's gotten rid of the Windex. He must have been returning it. He's got his sleep bottoms on still.
Okay. I've been thinking a little bit about noticing parts of poems or parts of lyrics or something that I might put on a sampler, and I've come up with 3 things. One is from a poem by a poet I really appreciate, Naomi Shihab Nye, and this is the last stanza, and it helps me a lot when things get very busy, especially at school, to remember like my interactions with people are the things I really want to value and put at the top of the list, not like the zillion emails. And here's the stanza. I refuse to be claimed. Your plate is waiting. we will snip fresh mint into your tea. That's a very meaningful thing for me. The second thing I picked was part of the Tom Petty song Wildflowers. The line that I just love is, "You belong somewhere you feel free." Again, I think this is partly teaching so many teenagers and wanting, but for we adults too, to just be in communities where we feel like we can really be ourselves. Cross-stitch community too. Like, we all are different. We all have our idiosyncrasies. None of us is perfect. And then the last thing is from a song called The Once and Future Carpenter by the Avett Brothers, which is a band I really, really like. There's a line, "If I live the life I'm given, I won't be scared to die."
I like that. When I was reading through Anna's quotes, she put them in the show notes before I did it. I really like that one. And I think that's true.
It's a simple and powerful thing. And especially as I age and turned 60 and everything, and you think, like, you just gotta make the most of things.
Yeah. I also think, like, aging to me has always been fine, because I'm like, I feel like I'm living a full life too. Like, yeah, I'm old because I've done a lot, kind of thing. Like, doesn't bother me. Yeah, I like that. All right.
So those are 3 possibilities.
I like that. Okay.
Maybe they're going on a sample.
I think we should do that. So I saw Anna's. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna at least pick one. I didn't look for 3 different ones. There's this place just at our school where I don't know when, it's been up for like over a year, where kids did some block printing and they put up quotes. And this was one quote that was on it, and I passed it every day. It was before I was on sabbatical, and I love it. In fact, I was like, I kind of want that, but I was like, should I steal it? But I didn't. But the quote just says, "Nearly everything is really interesting." And it's a quote by Richard Feynman, who was a really well-renowned physicist. So, and I just love it. I'm like, yeah, nearly everything is really interesting. But I just wanted to read the bigger quote, because kind of building off of Anna, I think as a teacher and thinking about developing young kids, like young students and young people, and for us too, I think it's just great. He says, fall in love with some activity and do it. Nobody ever figures out what life is all about, and it doesn't matter. Explore the world. Nearly everything is really interesting if you go into it deeply enough. Work as hard and as much as you want on the things you like to do best. Don't think about what you want to be, but what you want to do. Keep up some kind of minimum with other things so that society doesn't stop you from doing anything at all. But I love that, because you know, if you do what you like to do, like, things just kind of fall into place. But you do, sometimes you have to do enough so society kind of leaves you alone, right? I thought it was good. So that's my thumbs up. And Anna, I think that might be a good fun challenge, is to pick a sampler or something and put a quote on it, different quote. So we'd love to hear in your comments too, if you have, what would you put on your sampler if you wanted to replace a verse or a quote with something that you liked? What would you do? So that's mine. So my second thumbs up is, oh my gosh, I mean, Anna just showed it, but modern folk embroideries. Go watch his most recent video. He just talks over it and shows images, but it's the Vierlande. And first of all, he reproduced this unbelievable sampler. You have to just go look. It's huge, but it's spectacular. But then I love what he did, because while he's talking about this big one, I'm like, I'm getting that pattern, but I'm not going to get it. I'm just going to pick elements and do my own thing. But then he released 5 patterns. The reproduction, then he did this one that Anna showed, that's like medium. He did a small, he did a mini, and then he incorporated a quote. He had found the quote. Do you remember where he had found the quote? No. He found a quote someplace and he incorporated that into a original design. Just want to throw away everything and start this.
It's our love of like the geometric, and it's so dense and so like spherical or something. It's
unbelievable. So I want to stitch the big one. I know, I don't think I will. It's so huge, but I'm definitely going to stitch this one and then go from there. So thumbs up to that. And if you haven't gotten a chance to watch that, it's probably only about 15 minutes. Go watch it. It's amazing. And then last, with all the grandkids, the Grand Girl Chaos. I know I've talked about this before. thumbs up. And we don't really show pictures of our grandkids, but I just have to share this one quick picture because we were all at the park together. They're all in swings and they're in numerical order. So I'm just gonna flash it really quickly. So here are the grandgirls. Okay.
They're so great.
So great. All right, Anna, until next time,
Happy crafting.
and stay curious. Bye, everybody.